spinning. It moved so fast that no eyes could follow it. Presently it paused up in the left-hand corner of the web, and then Teddy saw it. It looked very little to have spun all that curtain of silvery web. As Teddy stood looking at it, it began to sing again.
Here in my shining web I sit to look about and rest a bit. I rest myself a bit, and then, quick as a flash, I begin again.
"Mr. Spinner, Mr. Spinner," cried Teddy, "can you tell me where to find the enchanted princess who lies asleep waiting for me to come and rescue her?" The spider sat quite still for a while, and then it said in a voice as thin as a hair,
You must go through the emerald door. You must go through the emerald door. What so fit as the emerald door for the hero who would do great deeds?
Teddy did not so much as stay to thank the little gray spinner. He was in such a hurry to find the princess, but turning he sprang to the emerald door, flung it open, and stepped outside. He found himself standing on the glass steps, and as his foot touched the topmost one, the whole flight closed up like an umbrella, and in a moment Teddy was sliding down the smooth glass pane, faster and faster and faster, until he could hardly catch his breath. The next thing he knew he was standing in the golden garden, and there was the Counterpane Fairy beside him, looking at him sadly. "You should have known better than to try the emerald door," she said. "And now shall we break the story?" "Oh, no, no!" cried Teddy, and he was still the hero. "Let me try once more, for it may be I can yet save the princess." Then the Counterpane Fairy smiled. "Very well," she said. "You shall try again, but remember what I told you. Beware of that that is little and gray, and take this with you, for it may be of use." Stooping, she picked up a blade of grass from the ground and handed it to him. The hero took it, wondering, and in his hands it was changed to a sword that shone so brightly that it dazzled his eyes. Then he turned, and there was the long flight of glass steps leading up to the golden castle just as before. So, thrusting the magic sword into his belt, he ran nimbly up and up and up, and not until he reached the very topmost step did he turn and look back to wave farewell to the Counterpane Fairy below. She waved her hand to him. "Remember," she called, "beware of what is little and gray." He opened the door and went into the five-sided golden hall, and there were the three doors, just as before, and the spider spinning and singing on the fourth side.
Now the brave hero is wiser indeed. He may have failed once, but he still may succeed. Dull are the emeralds, diamonds are bright. So is his wisdom that shines as the light.
"The diamond door!" cried Teddy. "Yes, that is the door that I should have tried. How could I have thought the emerald door was it?" And opening the diamond door, he stepped through it. He hardly had time to see that he was standing at the top of the glass steps before brrr! They had shut up again into a smooth glass hill, and there he was, spinning down them so fast that the wind whistled past his ears. In less time than it takes to tell, he was back again for the third time in the golden garden, with the Counterpane Fairy standing before him, and he was ashamed to raise his eyes. "So," said the Counterpane Fairy, "did you know no better than to open the diamond door?" "No," said Teddy, "I knew no better." "Then," said the fairy, "if you can pay no better heed to my warnings than that, the princess must wait for another hero, for you are not the one." "Let me try but once more," cried Teddy, "for this time I shall surely find her." "Then you may try once more and for the last time," said the fairy. "But beware of what is little and gray." Stooping, she picked from the grass beside her a fallen acorn cup and handed it to him. "Take this with you," she said, "for it may serve you well." As he took it from her, it was changed in his hand to a goblet of gold set round with precious stones. He thrust it into his bosom, for he was in haste, and turning, he ran for the third time up the flight of glass steps. This time so eager was he that he never once paused to look back, but all the time he ran on up and up he was wondering what it was that she meant about her warning. She had said, beware of what is little and gray. What had he seen that was little and gray? As soon as he reached the great golden hall, he walked over to the curtain of spider web. The spider was spinning so fast that it was little more than a gray streak, but presently it stopped up in the left-hand corner of the web. As the hero looked at it, he saw that it was little and gray. Then it began to sing to him in its little thin voice.
Great hero, wiser than ever before, try the red door, try the red door. Open the door that is ruby, and then you never need search for the princess again.
"No, I will not open the ruby door," cried Teddy. "Twice have you sent me back to the golden garden, and now you shall fool me no more." As he said this, he saw that one corner of the spider web curtain was still unfinished, in spite of the spider's haste, and underneath was something that looked like a little yellow door. Then suddenly he knew that that was the door he must go through. He caught hold of the curtain and pulled, but it was as strong as steel. Quick as a flash he snatched from his belt the magic sword, and with one blow the curtain was cut in two and fell at his feet. He heard the little gray spider calling to him in its thin voice, but he paid no heed, for he had opened the little yellow door and stooped his head and entered. Beyond was a great courtyard, all of gold, and with a fountain leaping and splashing back into a golden basin in the middle. But what he saw first of all was the enchanted princess, who lay stretched out as if asleep upon a couch, all covered with cloth of gold. He knew she was a princess, because she was so beautiful, and because she wore a golden crown. He stood looking at her without stirring, and at last he whispered, "Princess, Princess, I have come to save you." Still she did not stir. He bent and touched her, but she lay there in her enchanted sleep, and her eyes did not open. Then Teddy looked about him, and seeing the fountain, he drew the magic cup from his bosom, and filling it, sprinkled the hands and face of the princess with the water. Then her eyes opened, and she raised herself upon her elbow and smiled. "Have you come at last?" she cried. "Yes," answered Teddy, "I have come." The princess looked about her. "But what became of the spider?" she said. Then Teddy too looked about, and there was the spider running across the floor toward where the princess lay. Quickly he sprang from her side and set his foot upon it. There was a thin squeak, and then there was nothing left of the little gray spinner but a tiny gray smudge on the floor. Instantly the golden castle was shaken from top to bottom, and there was a sound of many voices shouting outside. The princess rose to her feet and caught the hero by the hand. "You have broken the enchantment," she cried, "and now you shall be king of the golden castle and reign with me." "Oh, but I can't," said Teddy, because But the princess drew him out with her through the hall, and there they were at the head of the flight of glass steps. A great host of soldiers and courtiers were running up it. They were dressed in cloth of gold, and they shouted at the sight of Teddy, "Hail to the hero! Hail to the hero!" And Teddy knew them by their voices for the golden birds that had fluttered around him in the garden below. "And all this is yours," said the beautiful princess, turning toward him with— "So that is the story of a yellow square," said the Counterpane Fairy. Teddy looked about him. The golden castle was gone, and the stairs, and the shouting courtiers. He was lying in bed with the silk coverlet over his little knees, and Hannah was still singing in the kitchen below. "Did you like it?" asked the fairy. Teddy heaved a deep sigh. "Oh, wasn't it beautiful?" he said. Then he lay for a while thinking and smiling. "Wasn't the princess lovely?" he whispered half to himself. The Counterpane Fairy got up slowly and stiffly, and picked up the staff that she had laid down beside her. "Well, I must be journeying on," she said. "Oh, no, no!" cried Teddy. "Please don't go yet." "Yes, I must," said the Counterpane Fairy. "I hear your mother coming." "But will you come back again?" cried Teddy. The Counterpane Fairy made no answer. She was walking down the other side of the Bedquilt Hill.